I have learned through the journey of life that wealth is not the accumulation of money, and happiness is not the pursuit of pleasure. Real wealth is the fulfillment of purpose. And real happiness is the result of functioning in what you were born to do. You were not created to chase money. You were created to solve a problem. Money is the reward given by those who benefit from your solution. But most people spend their lives pursuing the reward instead of developing the solution. They chase money, so money runs away. They pursue happiness, so happiness becomes elusive. Purpose is the reason for your existence, the original intent of the Creator. Purpose is what makes a chair at the birth of not being a human being. Nothing is valuable until it is functioning in its purpose. A seed is not valuable until it is planted. A car is not valuable until it moves. A human is not valuable until he discovers why God placed him on earth. I remember speaking to a young man who told me, Dr. Munroe, I want to be wealthy. He believed wealth was a mysterious force that belonged to a secret group of lucky individuals. He thought the successful had access to secrets he was denied. I looked him in the eyes and said, you do not become wealthy by pursuing wealth. You become wealthy by becoming valuable. Money is attracted to value the way bees are attracted to flowers. If you want the bees, you don't chase bees. You grow flowers. If you want wealth, stop chasing it. Grow value. Develop your gift. Refine your skill. Serve the world with excellence. One of the greatest mistakes in education is that we train people to find jobs instead of discovering purpose. Schools prepare you to make a living. Purpose prepares you to make a difference. The world is filled with people who have jobs but lack fulfillment. They work, but they don't live. They earn, but they don't grow. They exist, but they don't matter. I have traveled to over 100 nations, and I've discovered a universal truth. People who know their purpose never worry about happiness. Happiness becomes a byproduct. When a bird flies, it doesn't rejoice because flying makes it happy. It rejoices because flying is what it was designed to do. When you function in your purpose, you experience joy without trying. Many people ask God to bless their plans, but God does not bless your plans. He only blesses what you were born to do. Your responsibility is not to ask God to support your desires, but to discover His desires for your life. He will provide, supply, and prosper anything He created you to become. Your gift, not your job, is your identity. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your gift is what you were born to do. And until you discover that gift, life will remain a burden instead of a blessing. Purpose is the foundation of both wealth and happiness. A man with purpose cannot be poor because he always has something the world needs. A woman with purpose cannot be miserable because she lives in alignment with divine intention. The question that must echo in your heart is simple yet profound. Why am I here? Until you answer that, you will chase success but never experience significance. And significance is what your soul was designed for. If you desire wealth, do not focus on the accumulation of possessions. Focus on the cultivation of value. Wealth is not something you chase. It is something you attract by becoming valuable. Value is a magnet, and those who possess it never beg for opportunity. They are pursued by it. The world does not pay you for your potential. It pays you for your contribution. Potential is what you could do, but contribution is what you actually do. Many people are filled with gifts, talents, ideas, and abilities, but they remain poor because they never transform their potential into productivity. I remember speaking with a woman in South Africa who said to me, Dr. Munroe, I'm waiting for God to bless me. I smiled and replied, God already blessed you. That's why He gave you a seed. But He will not plant the seed for you. If you wait for wealth without working your gift, you will die waiting. God gives seed, but humans create harvest. To become valuable, you must become skilled. Value is not hidden in your intention. It is revealed in your execution. Nobody respects a gift that is raw and undeveloped. The reason diamonds are valuable is not because they are discovered, but because they are refined. You must refine yourself spiritually, intellectually, and professionally until you become excellent at your calling. Excellence is the currency of influence. The wealthiest people in the world are not those with the most jobs, but those with the most solutions. Wealth is the reward of solving problems. If you want to earn more, solve bigger problems. A plumber solves a problem. That is why he is paid. A neurosurgeon solves a more complex problem. That is why she is paid more. Your income is often a reflection of the magnitude of the problem you solve. Stop asking, how can I make money? And start asking, whose problem can I solve? That question unlocks doors money can't buy. I met a young entrepreneur who built a business from nothing but a simple skill designing shoes. He did not begin with wealth. He began with value. People paid him not because he wanted money, but because he created something worth buying. Value creates demand. Demand creates income. Income creates wealth. Do not pursue wealth. Pursue value until wealth pursues you. Because in the end, money is not attracted to need. Money is attracted to worth. Wealth is not built in a moment of inspiration. It is built in a lifetime of discipline. Motivation can excite you, but discipline transforms you. Many people are inspired on Sunday, but defeated by Monday, not because they lack desire, but because they lack habits that sustain desire. There is a law of life that I have observed. You will never rise above the systems you create for yourself. You don't create success by wishing. You create it by building daily patterns that support your purpose. When I was a young man, still discovering my assignment, I made a decision that changed my life. I would guard my time like treasure. I realized that time is money, and money is only a reflection of how you invest the currency of time. So I woke up early, studied intentionally, planned carefully, and worked diligently. Not because it was easy, but because purpose demands discipline. Many people fail, not because they are incapable, but because they are inconsistent. They start routines they do not finish. They begin projects they do not complete. They sow seeds they never water. A seed that is planted but neglected will never produce a harvest. Show me your habits, and I will show you your future. Show me your priorities, and I will show you your destiny. A wealthy man is not defined by his bank account, but by the disciplines that produced it. Wealth is the visible evidence of invisible habits. Happiness is the emotional evidence of a disciplined mind. You cannot separate prosperity from routine. I once met a businessman who built a global company. He told me, my success is not the result of one great idea, but of one great habit: consistency. He made a decision early in life that every day he would improve his product, serve his customer, and learn something new. Little decisions, repeated daily, produced extraordinary results. Your future is hidden in your daily action. You cannot pray laziness into productivity, nor can you wish procrastination into opportunity. Success rewards the disciplined, not the distracted. There are 3 habits every person of value must develop. Habit of learning, because your mind is your instrument of wealth. Habit of planning, because purpose without structure becomes frustration. Habit of execution, because ideas without action are just imagination. Do not wait for motivation. Build habits that work even when motivation is absent. Happiness is not found at your destination. It is formed on the journey of disciplined living. You are not waiting on success. Success is waiting on who you become daily. If you want to be wealthy and happy, you must possess something most people have lost: vision. Vision is not sight. Sight is a function of the eyes. Vision is a function of the heart. Sight shows you what is, but vision reveals what could be. Many people are trapped by their present circumstances because they believe their current condition is their permanent identity. But vision is the ability to see beyond the limits of your environment and the restrictions of your experience. I often say, your environment does not define you. It merely reveals where you started. I was born in poverty on a small island with no access to privilege. According to the statistics, my future was supposed to be limited. But statistics do not control destiny. Vision does. Vision gives you permission to imagine a future that is bigger than your past. Vision is the blueprint of destiny. A builder never constructs a house without a plan. Likewise, God never created you without a blueprint. Your gifts, desires, and dreams are not accidents, they are signals of your assignment. One day, a young man approached me after a conference and said, Dr. Munroe, I feel trapped by my life. I replied, you are not trapped by life, you are trapped by lack of vision. When you cannot see tomorrow, today becomes a prison. Vision fuels energy. It awakens passion. It gives you a reason to endure hardship. Without vision, obstacles look like dead ends. With vision, obstacles become training grounds. Stop asking life for permission to dream. You were created to rule, not to beg for approval. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without vision. To develop vision, 3 things are required: imagination, the ability to picture a future that does not yet exist; belief, the confidence that you can become what you see; action, the courage to pursue what you imagine. Vision without action is fantasy. Action without vision is chaos. But vision with action is transformation. I have met wealthy people who lacked happiness because they succeeded without purpose. And I have met joyful people who lacked riches because they had purpose but lacked structure. Vision unites both worlds. It is the compass that directs your gift toward impact and value. Your future is not ahead of you. It is within you, waiting to be born. If you want to be wealthy and happy, stop asking, what can I have? And start asking, who can I become? Because destiny is not achieved by chance, it is achieved by vision. If you desire true wealth and lasting happiness, you must understand a principle that contradicts the thinking of this world. Greatness is not found in being served, but in serving. People believe wealth is measured by what you own. But heaven measures wealth by how much you give, not by how much you give away materially, but by how much of yourself you invest into others. I have met people with money who were empty, and people with little who overflowed with joy. The difference was not income, it was impact. You were not created to consume. You were created to contribute. I once had a conversation with a leader of a major corporation. He said, Dr. Munroe, I want to build a company that dominates the market. I responded, do not try to dominate the market. Try to serve the market better than anyone else. Why? Because wealth follows service. The world rewards those who make life easier for others. Every major invention, business, or organization is built on service. Cars make transportation easier. Phones make communication faster. Hospitals make healing accessible. The question is not how can I become rich, but how can I serve more effectively? The person who serves one becomes useful. The person who serves millions becomes wealthy. Service is not weakness. Service is strategy. Service turns small gifts into great influence. I have seen leaders destroy their success because they believed greatness was entitlement. They wanted power, not purpose. They wanted recognition, not responsibility. But leadership is not ownership, it is stewardship. If you want to be great, lower yourself to lift others. If you want to be wealthy, solve problems for as many people as possible. If you want to be happy, spend your life adding value, not accumulating vanity. There is a story of a janitor in a school who became a local legend. He greeted every child with joy, encouraged students, and made everyone feel valued. One day, a parent told him, you are the happiest man I know. The janitor replied, because I found something worth doing with my life. The world may not remember your name, but it will feel your contribution. And heaven will record your impact. Greatness is not the result of position, title, or prestige. Greatness is the consequence of service. If you make life better for others, life will make room for you. And the day you stop asking, who will help me? And start asking, who can I help? That is the day you begin walking in the kind of wealth and happiness that money alone cannot buy. One of the greatest barriers to wealth and happiness is the fear of change. People desire a better life, but they resist the transformation required to produce it. They pray for a new season while clinging to old habits. They ask for new opportunities while holding on to old mindsets. I have learned that change is not the enemy comfort is. Comfort keeps you where you are, even when where you are is not where you belong. Comfort convinces you that familiarity is safety, even when familiarity is imprisonment. When I began my journey, I had to embrace change. I had to think differently, learn differently, and behave differently. Poverty was familiar, but purpose required a new mentality. I discovered that transformation begins not with environment, but with mindset. No amount of opportunity can help a person who refuses to change the way they think. Your life will never rise higher than your thoughts. A young man once told me, Dr. Munroe, I want my circumstances to change. I said, then change your decisions. Circumstances are often the harvest of previous choices. You cannot live recklessly and expect stability. You cannot live fearfully and expect breakthrough. You cannot live passively and expect progress. Change demands courage because transformation always requires loss. You must be willing to lose the old version of yourself to make space for the new one. Growth is painful because it requires surrender. The seed must break to become a tree. The caterpillar must die to become a butterfly. Many people admire success, but few are willing to endure the process that shapes it. Successful people are not special. They are courageous. They are willing to release what is comfortable in order to embrace what is possible. There are 3 shifts necessary for true change. Shift in identity, seeing yourself as capable, worthy, and responsible. Shift in relationships, surrounding yourself with people who challenge growth. Shift in discipline, structuring your life around priorities, not excuses. Some individuals sabotage their future because they are loyal to environments that limit them. You cannot evolve while clinging to relationships that reflect your past. Sometimes God removes people not to hurt you, but to free you. Change is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It is the continual refinement of character, beliefs, and behavior. If you want wealth, become someone who can manage wealth. If you want happiness, become someone who can sustain happiness. Do not fear change. Fear staying the same when you know you were created for more. Many people abandon their dreams, not because they lacked ability, but because they misunderstood failure. They assumed failure was a sign of incompetence, when in truth, failure is evidence of courage. Only those who attempt the impossible encounter it. Failure is not a destination, it is a process. It is a classroom designed to refine you, not destroy you. Every great leader, innovator, or entrepreneur you admire did not succeed because they avoided failure. They succeeded because they learned from it. I remember speaking to a young woman who told me she was ashamed of her business collapsing. I said, why are you ashamed of the path that taught you what success requires? Failure gives you information success cannot. Failure exposes weaknesses, clarifies priorities, and tests commitment. The difference between winners and quitters is not that winners never fall. It is that they refuse to remain down. Winners use failure as fuel, while quitters use it as justification. When a child learns to walk, they fall hundreds of times. Yet no parent says walking is not for you. The child keeps rising because falling is part of the process adults forget. This, they label themselves by their mistakes instead of their potential. Failure is simply proof that progress is happening. If nothing is failing, nothing is growing. 3 critical lessons failure teaches. Resilience, the strength to continue when circumstances don't cooperate. Humility, the wisdom to recognize blind spots and accept correction. Adaptability, the ability to adjust strategy without abandoning purpose. Do not let failure define you, let it educate you. Greatness is birthed in those who endure disappointment without surrendering identity. Remember, success is not the absence of falling, but the mastery of rising. Wealth and happiness are not accidents, nor are they privileges reserved for a chosen few. They are the natural outcome of a life aligned with purpose, cultivated through discipline, expressed in service, and sustained by vision. Throughout this journey, I have learned that true success does not begin with external change, but with internal transformation. You cannot build prosperous life with a broken mindset, a passive attitude, or a fearful spirit. Prosperity is not first financial, it is mental, spiritual, and emotional. You were created with gifts that the world needs. You were designed with solutions waiting to be discovered. Your life is not a random existence, but a divine assignment. And the moment you commit to developing your potential, serving humanity, and honoring your purpose, you begin attracting the resources, relationships, and opportunities that match your destiny. Happiness is not found in achievement alone, but in fulfillment, knowing you are functioning as you were designed. Wealth is not the sum of possessions, but the measure of the value you bring to others. Purpose makes you valuable. Discipline makes you effective. Vision makes you unstoppable. Service makes you impactful. Do not wait for the world to change before you pursue your calling. Do not wait for perfect conditions before you begin. Perfect conditions do not create greatness, courage does. You may have been born into lack, disappointment, or limitation, but you were not born to remain there. Your life is too significant, your gifts too valuable, and your future too important to settle for mediocrity. The world is waiting for what you carry. Rise, develop it, and release it. Your wealth is in your purpose. Your joy is in your becoming. And your future is waiting to be created by you.